What's up, everyone? So if you just finished that incredible season finale of Alien Earth that dropped on September 23rd, 2025, you're probably wondering the same thing I am. When the heck are we getting season 2? Well, I've got some good news and some not so good news about the future of this absolutely phenomenal series. Season 1 success and critical acclaim. First off, let's talk about just how successful Season 1 has been. This show is straight up crushing it with critics. We're talking a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Some people are literally calling it a sci-fi masterpiece, and honestly, after that finale, I can see why. Creator's vision for multiple seasons. Now here's where things get interesting. Hawley, you know him from Fargo and Legion, he's been pretty vocal about wanting to turn this into a multi-season project. And this guy knows what he's doing, right? Fargo ran for 5 seasons, Legion got 3. So, when he says he wants multiple seasons, that's a pretty good sign. Latest news on Renewal status. But here's the thing, and this is the not so good news I mentioned. Disney and Hulu haven't officially greenlit Season 2 yet. I know, it's frustrating. But there's actually some exclusive info from Hawley himself that gives us hope. He recently said, "We're talking about the future of the show, and FX does their homework. They really make sure that they understand what the viewership numbers are. And on some level, it's where you end more than where you started that tells you what the appetite for a Season 2 is." The key thing to understand here is that while FX is doing all the analysis and homework on viewership numbers, ultimately this comes down to a Disney decision. Hawley was clear about that. He also mentioned there's some urgency to get things moving quickly because, in his words, "I don't want the show to be off the air for any longer than it absolutely has to be." Plus, he joked that there's so many great hard rock songs left to play, which honestly made me smile. Hawley's long-term plans. Back in July 2025, Hawley laid out his vision pretty clearly. He said, and I'm translating here because he said this in German, "Season 1 serves as a proof of concept. And if it works commercially, then Season 2 would be about building a foundation for Seasons 3, 4, and 5. That's ambitious, and I'm here for it." He's also mentioned that he has a clear destination in mind story-wise, which is reassuring. As he put it, "I believe that endings are what give a story meaning, so I have a sense of where I'm going with it." In August, he expanded on this, saying he knows the story he's telling and what it means. But the big question is, how streamlined can we make the process so that you're not waiting for 3 or 4 or 5 years for more? Network support. Here's something encouraging. John Landgraf, the chairman of FX Networks, said they're pretty bullish on Alien Earth, and they've told Hawley that assuming it becomes a returning series, they want him to focus on writing at least 2 seasons. So the network support is definitely there. Why no announcement yet? Now, before you panic about the lack of an official announcement, this isn't actually that unusual. Plenty of this year's biggest hits, like Dexter, Resurrection, didn't get renewed before their finales either. One thing that could definitely explain the delayed announcement was the massive viral outrage that erupted when Disney pulled Jimmy Kimmel Live from ABC. And here's the kicker. This happened just days before the Alien Earth Season 1 finale dropped. So Disney was likely in full damage control mode, dealing with that PR disaster, instead of focusing on renewal announcements. The timing really couldn't have been worse for getting any positive news out about their shows. Season 2 cast expectations. Let's talk about who we can expect to see return. Obviously, Sydney Chandler as Wendy is coming back. She's our lead, and that finale ending basically guarantees it. The main cast we should see again includes Alex Lawther as Joe, Samuel Blenken as Boy Cavalier, Babu Cisse as Morrow, Timothy Oliphant as Kirsch, Essie Davis as Dame Sylvia, David Risdall as Arthur, Sandra Yee Sensindiver as Yutani, and Adrian Edmondson as Adam Ines. All the Lost Boys, the hybrids, should be back too. That's Lily Newmark's Nibs, Irana James's Curly Jane, Adarsh Gourov's Slightly, and Jonathan Ajayi's Smee, though Kit Young's Toodles Isaac might be damaged beyond repair after what happened to him. Mo Barrell's Rashidi's return is up in the air since he was last seen getting assaulted by Jane. And sadly, DM Camille's Siberian won't be coming back after getting killed by that plant-like alien in the finale. Same goes for all the actors who played characters aboard the Maginot. They all died. Florence Bensberg's Marcy could potentially return through archival footage, which would be a nice touch. Season 2 story predictions. Okay, let's dive into where Season 2 might go, because that finale left us with so many questions. Wendy's now in control of Neverland after completely overthrowing Boy Cavalier. The remaining hybrids and Joe have the upper hand over Boy K and his whole crew, Dame Sylvia, Adam Ines, Kirsch, and Morrow. But here's the kicker. Yutani's reinforcements are approaching right as the finale ends. That could completely flip the power dynamic again. Most, if not all, of the hybrids and alien species, including Wendy's pet xenomorph, should continue to be major players in Season 2. And given how much of a fan favorite Morrow became, he's got a really good chance of returning and potentially escaping. The big question for Season 2 is, what does Wendy actually want with all this newfound power, assuming it lasts? And more importantly, how long will she be able to hold on to it? Here's the thing about Boy K. He keeps calling himself a genius, right? So he's got to have some kind of emergency plan for exactly this scenario where the hybrids revolt against him. Because that's exactly what just happened. And that revelation about Adam being a synthetic father figure to Boy K, who killed his own alcoholic dad when he was just 6 years old, that's going to play a huge role moving forward. Adam may actually get an increased role after this revelation. Potential conflicts. If Wendy keeps her power, she's going to have to deal with Yutani directly instead of Boy K handling that relationship. She'll likely need to negotiate with or fight off Yutani in Boy K's place. And let's be real, it doesn't look like there's any road back to coexisting with Boy K on Neverland anymore. Boy Cavalier and his prodigy personnel are definitely the most vulnerable characters right now, although Wendy doesn't appear to have any immediate plans to kill them. Wendy might try to plan some kind of escape for the Lost Boys, but given that the show is called Alien Earth, I doubt we're heading to space like the movies did. Final thoughts. Look, based on everything we know, the critical acclaim, Hawley's track record, the network support, and that cliffhanger ending, Season 2 feels inevitable. It would be absolutely insane for Disney not to greenlight this show for at least one more season. The only real question is when we'll get that official announcement and how long we'll have to wait for new episodes. But given Hawley's comments about not wanting the show off the air longer than necessary, I'm optimistic we won't be waiting too long. What did you think of that finale? And where do you want to see the story go in Season 2? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more sci-fi content. I'll keep you updated as soon as we get any official news about Alien Earth Season 2.